Messi wins his 7th Ballon d'Or. Did he deserve it? Should it have gone to Lewandowski? Today, Wolves tied 0-0 against Burnley. They look anemic on offense. They have 2 points out of 6 playing against Burnley and Norwich. Something has to change. On the other side, Liverpool beat Everton. They win the Merseyside Derby 4-1. They look unstoppable right now. Manchester United appoint Ralf Rangnick as their interim head coach till the end of the season. What does this mean for Manchester United? In the NFL Week 12, the Seahawks lose to the Washington football team. They fall to 3-8. They are done. And it looks like Russell Wilson might be playing his last days with Seattle. Rams lose 3 straight. They are now 7-4 after starting 7-1. They lose 36-28 to the Packers, and the final score kind of hides how much they were dominated by the Packers. Patriots are 8-4. They've won 6 straight. They're first place in the AFC East. They are back. The Patriots, after one season of playing mediocre, they look like they're right back in there. The Suns extend their win streak to 17. They defeat the Warriors, and Devin Booker only played 15 minutes. We'll talk about all of that on this episode of the Hard to Handle Sports Podcast. Let's get started. Messi wins his 7th Ballon d'Or, his record extending 7th Ballon d'Or. And this one comes with a lot of controversy. I will say so myself. I, as a lot of other people, felt that it should have gone to Lewandowski. He had the better season, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion. He performed excellent with Bayern. He showed up in the big games. He won the league. He won the cup with Bayern, and obviously with his national team, he can't really do too much. He's Poland. He's Polish, so Poland is not the powerhouse, especially in Europe where they're stacked. So you can't really hold that too much against Lewandowski if he doesn't have the success with the national team. Obviously, Messi finally won his elusive first trophy with the national team of Argentina. He's been wanting a national trophy forever, as a lot of the greats do. You want to win with your club, but winning with your country just feels different. It's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different experience. So Messi finally gets his Copa America. But some of the critics would say that he didn't score in the semifinal. He didn't score in the final. Copa America is supposed to be a tournament that gets played every 4 years, but since 2016, like a 5-year span, there's been like 3 or 4 Copa Americas. So how hard is it for him to actually, like, how much does that cup really mean if they're just spitting them out like crazy? But, you know, he did win that national team trophy. Argentina did succeed. They did win it. I believe they had no fans, and they had to change locations a couple times because of the pandemic. So it was also like a weird Copa America. It wasn't like a regular one. But they did beat Brazil on their way to the finals, in the finals. So credit to Messi, credit to Argentina. But in my humble opinion, I think Lewandowski should have won the Ballon d'Or last year, but they didn't give out the award. And this year, I think he was the overwhelming favorite, in my opinion, too. And I think Jorginho also should have had. He finished 3rd. I think he should have finished 2nd. If it was up to me, I would probably put Lewandowski, Jorginho, Messi, Benzema, Kante, and then Ronaldo, or maybe Lewandowski, Jorginho, Benzema, Messi, and Kante. I just don't think that Messi had that great of a season, especially by his standards, and others had a lot of deserving seasons as well. Benzema, you know, he put the Real Madrid team on his back, and Messi, this is the 2021 award, so we got to consider everything, not just the Copa America and not just the ending of last year, but the beginning of this season. He has struggled to score with PSG. Shocking move to leave Barcelona, go to PSG. I believe he scored one goal out of 8 league games this season in the French league. And, you know, we don't really hear too much criticisms of him. He's just feeling it out. Ronaldo, who has done better with United, gets criticized way more. I would say that I think Messi, throughout his career, he has been protected. He's been a media darling. People, like, if you see ESPN or even like Bleacher Report or like a lot of these news outlets, sports news outlet on Twitter, on Instagram, the way they depict Messi and the way they depict Ronaldo is just completely different. Especially even the people, the French press, the ones that host the Ballon d'Or, Ronaldo wasn't even present, and they put up a picture of him and Drogba like modeling some male suits from like years back, and it's just like it's a bad taste in the mouth. It leaves a bad taste in the mouth, and you just wonder like what's their agenda, what are their biases, and as a lot of people have said throughout the last few years, I think this award has lost some of its shine, some of its legitimacy. Like how legit is this award when a lot of players have felt robbed. I'm talking about like Robin or Snyder with the Netherlands when he led AC Milan to the, I mean not AC, Inter, when he led Inter to the Champions League, and Netherlands to the final, and he didn't win it. There's always, it feels like there's always a lot of politics going around with the Ballon d'Or, and this year is no different. Even I think Lewandowski kind of predicted this going into the tournament before it was announced who won. He was interviewed and he kind of said that he just hopes that they pick whoever had the best year, and there's no other like outside forces impacting the decision. And I feel like there is, and there always will be. It's politics, and you know, it is what it is. Congratulations to Messi for winning his record-extending 7th Ballon d'Or. And we'll see who wins it next year. I think there's also a lot of fatigue from Messi and Ronaldo winning it. I think at some point we got to start moving away from these two greats, and we got to start rewarding other players. But it is what it is. Messi wins his 7th Ballon d'Or. Congratulations to Messi. I'm sure he's having a great time enjoying his 7th Ballon d'Or. And nevertheless, it doesn't take away from, you know, Messi's a great player, all-time great. To win 7 Ballon d'Ors is just incredible. It's probably never going to be topped. And Ronaldo's probably never going to catch up to him. So he has that over Ronaldo probably for the rest of his career and the rest of their life. So congratulations to Messi for winning his 7th Ballon d'Or. And, you know, I feel sorry for Lewandowski. They made up a best striker award just to give it to him, just so, you know, it wouldn't leave such a bad taste in his mouth that he didn't win the Ballon d'Or, when, in my opinion, he clearly deserved it. Wolves tie 0-0 versus Burnley. Another disappointing tie. 0 goals against Burnley and Norwich is just unacceptable. No matter how you spin it, you should be able to score against these bottom of the table teams. And it's just sad. It's just sad because you get excited with the Wolves. They start to lead you. They start to make you believe that, you know, this could be a different season, that, you know, they could turn it around, that they're getting results. And then they put these two stinker of matches against Burnley and against Norwich, and you're like, okay, like what can we realistically do this season? We have to, you know, not get too ahead of ourselves. When the Wolves beat West Ham and they moved into like 6th place, they still hold 6 right now, but you were starting to think, okay, we got Norwich next, we got Burnley next, and then we got Liverpool and Man City's and Brighton, so it's gonna get tough. But with Norwich and Burnley lining up after we just have a very uplifting victory against West Ham, you start to think, okay, can we push towards top 4? Like these should be victories. We should be able to just keep going up the table. You looked at West Ham's fixtures. They just lost to Man City today. You knew that they were probably not going to get too many more points. And the Wolves were playing Norwich and Burnley, so you expected them to, you know, get more momentum, use the West Ham victory to momentum to catapult them up the table. And you would think that they would be going into this Liverpool match on Saturday with a lot of momentum, with a lot of excitement, with a lot of, you know, positive things to build on. And unfortunately, it's the opposite. You just start looking at the roster, you start looking across, you know, the starting 11, and you start to wonder who's going to score. If it's not Raul Jimenez, if it's not Huang, if he's not on form, if he's not finding like a lucky deflection like he did when he first started with the Wolves, and he's not at the right place at the right time, who in this team is going to put the ball in the back of the net? The Wolves, to their credit, they have the third best defense in the Premier League. That's great. That's awesome. But they have the third worst offense and the worst home offense. And it's getting hard to watch. It's getting frustrating. There's a lack of intent when the Wolves go up. When the Wolves try to attack, there's a lack of pace. There's a lack of urgency. There's a lack of ideas. It just seems like the Wolves are very comfortable just kicking the ball side to side, and no one gets the ball on their foot and tries to go at a player, try to take a player on. And that's upsetting. It's upsetting that Raul Jimenez is not the Raul Jimenez he was before the injury. It sucks, but he's not. It's upsetting that Silva hasn't developed. That the Jota transfer, some didn't get invested better. It didn't get invested in a player that was going to impact the team. It didn't get invested in maybe in a couple squad rotation players that could, add something to the team. It got invested in a 17-year-old that's not ready, and we don't know if he will ever be ready. You hope that Silva could finally turn it around when he's 20, 21, or 22. He's still very young, so nothing against the kid, but like Wolves, us as Wolves fans, we want results. We want Wolves to put a good content on the field, and it's just not happening. And Adama Traore, he has those contract, extension talks that don't seem to be going anywhere. I used to be one of the people that would say, like, we can't get rid of him. Like, he's generational talent. Like, you see that speed, you see how he dribbles, as he evades tackles. Like, we need him. But that was like the old days. I'm still like enamored by those days when you would see Adama Traore go down the touchline and give a pass to Raul Jimenez, and he would finish it. And it seems like those days are over. Raul Jimenez is not the same player. Adama Traore's last touch has gotten worse. I thought it couldn't get worse, but it looks like he has no final product. Today, he should have definitely played on Raul Jimenez. Easy tap in. I think Raul Jimenez finishes that, and it's a whole different game. Burnley can't just sit back. They got to go look for the game. They got to go look for the tie. And Wolves could get them on the counterattack. Instead, Adama Traore goes on his own, gets close to scoring, hits the crossbar, and then it goes away. And that was the clearest chance that the Wolves had all game, and it's frustrating that was the best chance. It's frustrating that Adama Traore could have played Raul Jimenez. Obviously, he hasn't scored and assisted in 15 games. He's probably frustrated. He probably just wants to score. He probably wants to score to, show Wolves that they should give him a higher contract. I don't know. But he should have definitely played on Raul Jimenez. And it just looks like goals are not coming from the front three, from the midfield. Dan Donker coming in for Neves. Like, there needs to be more pace in that midfield. Having Moutinho and Dan Donker in the midfield, it was so lethargic, so slow. It's frustrating to watch. Another frustrating thing from this match was there was no urgency. Like, Wolves are at home. You see Bruno Lage getting the crowd pumped up, trying to get the support up, and they add 4 minutes, and you can see the 4 minutes coming to an end, and the Wolves center backs are just kicking the ball in the back, just happy, just content to kick the ball from one side to the other. All right, if when the ball gets to the flanks, none of the wing backs, none of the wingers are gonna try to attack and maybe take on a player. Like, at least give it to the center back and just launch the ball to the top. Don't just waste time doing nothing, kicking the ball side to side. Like, it hadn't worked all game. It didn't work at the end, and they just literally killed the last 2 minutes just with nothing. The keeper, the Burnley keeper, didn't really have too much to worry about, and it's just frustrating because I did a video after the West Ham victory, and I was like, I don't want to get too excited, but Norwich, Burnley next, like this is looking good. This is looking good. We could potentially push top 4, or get ourselves in a comfortable position to at least finish in a European spot when the season is over. But now 2 points out of 6 against Norwich, against Burnley, it's unacceptable. 2 teams that are fighting for relegation. Like, that's just it's sad that we can't. we can't muster better games against these teams. And now Liverpool they're playing probably the best football in all the Premier League right now. Come to Molineux, so we'll see how that goes. But overall, disappointing result against Burnley, disappointing result against Norwich, and we go again on Saturday. Liverpool win the Merseyside Derby 4-1. Salah looks unstoppable. Jordan Henderson puts a masterclass performance. Diego Jota, exquisite finish, exquisite season he's having with Liverpool. Liverpool are just firing on all cylinders. They completely take care of Everton 4-1 at Goodison Park. Shout out to Liverpool. Congratulations, having a great season. They're the top scorers of the league for a reason. They have a lot of players that can score. Their midfield is active. They get up. They attack the box. It's nice to watch Liverpool play. It's exciting. It's fun. And Jota looks like a little magician. Salah is the king of Africa. He's the king of the world right now. He's probably playing the best football out of any footballer in the world right now. And he just makes tough finishes look very, very simple. He's a savant with the ball on his foot. And Liverpool look like they're going to climb that table. They're already third, 31 points in 14 games. They have the top scorers in the league. In Salah, number 1, Mane, number 2, and then it's Vardy, and then it's Diego Jota. Or it might be Salah, Vardy, Mane, and Jota. One of those. They have 3 of the top 4 scorers in the league. And in my opinion, they're playing the best. Chelsea's getting results. They're number 1 in the table. But, for a lot of these games, they're kind of squeaking out. They beat Watford today, but I think Liverpool is really impressing the most right now. City's playing good too. But for my money, I think Liverpool is playing the best. And this season has turned into a 3-horse race. I thought in the beginning of the season, Manchester United, with the signings they had, with Ronaldo coming to them, I thought they were going to be able to, make it a 4-team race. But as we've seen with Ole gone, they're out of the picture. They're like in 10th. They might not even get Europe. But this is definitely a 3-horse race. And for my money, if you were to ask me right now who I would put my money on, I would definitely say Liverpool. They're in 3rd place right now, but I see them playing the best football right now. Salah looks unstoppable. That supporting cast is great. Jordan Henderson is a great captain. I like his story arc. I like his career arc. Jordan Henderson, like a lot of Premier League fans would give him some slack when they weren't doing that good. When he became the captain, when he was like an unquestioned starter in their starting 11, a lot of people used to call him. I don't know if people remember, because now Jordan Henderson is like a captain. He's a well-renowned player. He was the captain when they won the Champions League, when they won the league. He's in the England team. He's in the England starting 11. His career has gone so good in the last few, like 4 or 5 years. But I remember there used to be people that would give him a lot of criticism. They would say, like, Jordan Henderson captaining Liverpool, like what a downgrade from Steven Gerrard to Jordan Henderson. Like how are you gonna have that big of a drop off, having like a all-time great English player, and now you have like this, what a lot of people thought was just a middle of the pack midfielder. So it's great to see how Jordan Henderson has just lifted himself. He has class in his game. He looks like a great player, and he seems to score banger of goals all the time. And today he had another exquisite finish, curling the ball to the right side of the keeper, side netting, going in. Beautiful finish. Good for Jordan Henderson. I like what he does. I like what he represents. He's a good captain. He looks like he's a good leader, man. He looks like he's a good person. So I'm happy for Jordan Henderson getting on the score sheet. Salah obviously gotta get some love. He scores 2 goals. One pass from Jordan Henderson, another one on a mistake from Coleman, I believe. And he looks unstoppable right now. He looks like the best player in the Premier League by a mile. And what can you say about Salah? He just makes hard things look easy, and he's on fire right now. And he's probably the main reason that Liverpool is on this run that they are. And Jota hurts my heart to talk about Jota because as a Wolves fan, I miss him. When I see the anemic offense that the Wolves put on display, I could only imagine how different it would be if Jota was still wearing the yellow and black. But he's gone now, and he's thriving with Liverpool, and I'm happy for him. And like the announcer said, he's probably going to be scoring goals in that red uniform for years to come. It seems like it's a bargain. Whatever they paid for him, it looks like it's a bargain. I'm pretty sure his value has doubled by this point with the performances he has put for Liverpool and Portugal since he made that transfer. But beautiful turn by Jota. He's a little magician with the ball on his foot. 31 points out of 14 games. I think Liverpool is firing on all cylinders. I think their offense is amazing to watch. I kind of get the same sense out of Liverpool from the Warriors. If you guys watch basketball, if you guys follow the NBA, the Liverpool offense kind of gives me the same feeling that I get when I watch the Warriors. Just excitement. Just it's fun. It's exciting. You kind of always got to watch because something exciting could happen. I kind of get the same feeling from Liverpool, and that's a big compliment to Liverpool if anybody's watched the Warriors play. But for my money, Liverpool is the favorite to win the league. They completely dominate Everton and win the Merseyside Derby 4-1. Manchester United have appointed Ralf Rangnick as the interim head coach till the end of the 2021-2022 season. And then after that, he's going to play some assistant role or something, upper management role for 2 more years. But what does this mean for Manchester United? They're like in 10th place in the Premier League. They have completely fallen out of the Premier League race, but they're still in Champions League. They're still in the Premier League, trying to possibly squeak their way back into the top 4, maybe just get Europa League. We'll see what they're able to do. But what does this mean for Manchester United? I think this brings more accountability to that locker room. Before, in his previous jobs, he's had this 12 punishment system for players, or instead of finding the players, he does like these 12 different punishment that he implements for players. He does like a ball system where you got to pump up balls, get them to the pitch clean and stuff like that. You have to go be an assistant coach for an academy team. You got to be a stadium tour guide. There's a lot of stuff that he does. You got to take care of the grass. You got to wear a tutu to practice. He's different. He's innovative. He has different ways of punishing players. But I think this is what Manchester United needs. If you look at United, they kind of look like they lack leadership. They lack accountability. They lack just someone to lead them, someone to tell them, hey, this is how things are going to be. And if you don't do it, if you don't get in line, there's going to be consequences. And it just looks, Manchester United reminds me of, those club teams, those travel teams growing up that had all the talent in the world. If you look at the individual players, you're like, okay, he's a good scorer, he's a good dribbler. We got one of the better defenders in the league. Keeper's nice, strong midfield, bench is good. There's no reason this travel team shouldn't be good. And they're not good because they're getting late to the games. They're not warming up properly. They got divas on the team. Everyone's just trying to get the new cleats, just trying to impress the girls. And they're not focused on the game. They have all the talent in the world, but they're not focused. And it kind of reminds me like that. Manchester United, they have all the talent in the world. They have world-class players that demand great transfer fees, but they're not in line. They're not all playing together. And I think Ralf Rangnick is going to bring that to Manchester United. So I'm excited to see how he gets them in line, how he holds every player accountable. And it's just an upgrade over Ole. Ole just looked like, this job came too fast for him. It was too soon. He hadn't earned his chops as a coach. He hadn't developed tactics that work in the Premier League. The Premier League is probably the toughest league in the world. And for him to just jump into it like that, it's very tough. So Ralf Rangnick, who has some pedigree, who has some cachet, I think he's going to be able to implement his tactics. They're going to have a United team that plays more as a team. That they're going to be more focused. he's not a player's coach. It's kind of what I'm getting from this. I think Oli, to a fault, was too buddy with all his players. It's great. It's great to have a coach that you could go talk to, that you could feel that you're like on the same level and you could connect to, and you're friends with him. That's all good. But at some point, you got to show the locker room, you got to show the players that, hey, I'm the boss. I'm the boss. Like, what I say goes, and if you don't do what I say, there's gonna be punishment. And I realized that with Manchester United when Maguire got sent off against Watford, and you got Oli on the side of the bench, or like on the sideline when Maguire was passing him to head to the locker room after he got his red card. Oli gives him the high five, or it gives him the hand. Like, what are you doing? I've seen coaches numerous times yell at their players, like, what are you doing? Like, how did you not get it together? I think it's just that type of buddy, like being friends with your players. It just lets everyone off the hook. It's like, okay, like, we clearly saw Maguire, the captain of the team, do this atrocious mistake, and you're not going to say anything. You're not going to tell him. You're not going to, make an example of him. You're not going to, like, hold him more accountable. Like, this is a professional football player getting paid an insane amount of money, who demanded the biggest transfer fee for a center back ever, and you're just going to give him a 5? Like, bruh, hold them accountable. And I think none of that nonsense is going to happen with Ralf Rangnick. So I'm pretty excited to see how he's able to transform that locker room, get everyone, in line. And then afterwards, we'll see what happens after this season, if he stays on board as a coach, or if he does just take like an upper management position that's being talked about. But I do think, for one, United is going to have some accountability, and I could definitely see a max exodus of players after this season if they keep him, with the players that he doesn't think listen to him, that he doesn't think fit the team. Like, we might see a lot of United players exit and get some more in to really change that culture. But overall, I think it's a great signing for Manchester United. He seems like a good transition guy. Maybe one of the elite coaches become available at the end of the season when things usually shift a little bit more. But for now, I think this is a good appointment for Manchester United to get them to the end of the season. The Seahawks lose to the Washington football team. They are done. They will not make the playoffs. I know the 7th seed is not that far away, just because the NFC is top heavy. It doesn't have a lot of good teams in the bottom. So they could theoretically make a run. They could theoretically win out, finish 9-8, and get the 7th seed, or maybe 8-9 will be enough. And they just signed Adrian Peterson as a running back off free agency. And I don't know how much that would do. Adrian Peterson, one of the all-time greats, but he doesn't have too much left on the tank. But this loss to the Washington football team just lets me know that the Seahawks are not going to turn it around. They're not going to just flip a switch. That offense looks terrible. I don't know what the offensive coordinator is calling. DK Metcalf only having one catch for the whole game for 13 yards. DK Metcalf, how do you not get DK Metcalf more than one catch? It's terrible. It's bad. It should never happen, and it's happening. And Russell Wilson looks like he's bad. Is he injured still? He's saying that his finger feels fine, but he's throwing the ball into the dirt. His throws aren't as accurate as we know Russell Wilson can be, and it's just hard to watch. That defense hasn't been that bad, holding the Washington football team to 17 points. They still allow a lot of yards, but they've been a little better in the red zone, not allowing the other team to score. But that offense is just terrible. It's hard to watch. It's slow. It looks like they have to grind out every single drive, and it looks like they're always in 3rd and long, and they're always fighting for their lives. And it's terrible. It's bad. It doesn't look good, and I don't think it's gonna change. And Russell Wilson, who was upset this offseason after a 12-4 season, it looks like we might be counting down the days of Russell Wilson being a Seattle Seahawk, because if he was upset last year and they had a 12-4 season, I could only imagine how upset he is this year. I think they had in the Super Bowl when Tom Brady was in the Super Bowl playing against Patrick Mahomes. I believe they showed that Russell Wilson was on the stands, and you could just tell that he was mad. He wants to be there. He wants to experience another Super Bowl. He wants to win another championship. And the Seahawks look like they're far away, and that division is not easy at all. You have the Cardinals, who have surprised a lot of people and are leading the NFL with the best record. The Rams have lost 3 straight, but they're still a pretty solid team. They're 7-4. The Niners have turned it around. They've won 3 straight. I believe they're 6-5. So that division is hard. Everyone has has an over 500 record except the Seahawks. So it might be a tough turnaround. And Russell Wilson might want to go somewhere else. He might want to go to a different offense, a better offensive coordinator, an offense-oriented coach. And I don't blame him, because I'm curious to see how Russell Wilson would do, like in an Andy Reid offense, in a Sean McVay offense, in a Matt LaFleur offense, something like that, where they're running a bunch of other stuff. It's not just so stagnant, so boring. Run the ball, 3rd and long, throw, make Russell Wilson do something. It would be great. It would be great to see him in another offense. And the Seahawks just look terrible. They look like, I don't know. I can't see them getting more than 6 wins this season. But, maybe Adrian Peterson is what they needed, and maybe they could turn it around. But as far as I've seen the last 3 weeks, the Seahawks are done. The Rams lose their 3rd straight game. They are now 7-4 after starting 7-1. They lose to the Packers 36-28. It was a 1-score game at the end, but this game was not that close. The Packers thoroughly dominated the Rams throughout the 60 minutes. And now 3 straight losses to the Titans, 49ers, and Packers. They do have the Jaguars next, and then they close out with the Cardinals, Seahawks, Vikings, Ravens, and 49ers. So that's a very tough schedule. Only the Jaguars is the game that you could see them like just flat out win, and the Seahawks if they don't turn it around. But other than that, you got the Cardinals. The Vikings have been tough. They've lost a lot of close games, but they've had a lot of solid victories too, and all their losses have been competitive. The Ravens with Lamar Jackson, and the 49ers who have turned it around. So if they keep going on this skid, you could end up like 9-8, 10-7 to end the season in a wild card spot. I don't think they have a chance of missing the playoffs, just because all the other teams are pretty far down the standings, especially for that 7th spot. But I could see them potentially finishing 7th or 6th in the wild card race if they don't stop this bleeding. But that's just crazy. It's crazy how much a narrative could change. It's crazy how our perspective, our outlook on a team can change from week to week, let alone in a month or 3 weeks. I remember the Rams were 7-1. They were flying. They were looking good. Matthew Stafford was the MVP favorite. Everyone was touting the Rams organization for going all in, for getting Von Miller, for picking up OBJ. It was sweet. It was sweet. I have Rams fans all over my Instagram, and they were posting. They were like, Super Bowl bound. Like, that's it. Give us the ring. Like, start measuring our fingers. Like, all that good stuff. Everyone thought. Not everyone, but a lot of people were like, okay, the Rams are for real, 7-1. They might be the favorites, the NFC favorites to represent them in the Super Bowl. And now here we are, beginning of December, and they lose 3 straight. Matthew Stafford has completely regressed. He looks like the Matthew Stafford of the Lions, where you could tell he has a lot of talent, but he doesn't have that it factor. He can't carry a team. He can't really just galvanize the entire locker room and get them to play better. He kind of, when it starts going bad, he goes along with the ride. He can't turn it. He can't steer the ship. This is his 3rd straight game with a pick six. That's not good. Obviously, it's not good. He's the first quarterback to do it since Matt Schaub, and that's not the company you want to be in. We were talking about Matthew Stafford. People were saying if he would have left if he would have left the Lions earlier, he would be on a gold jacket type of path. That's how much talent he has. That's how good his arm is. But now we're comparing him to Matt Schaub. And no disrespect to Matt Schaub. I actually really enjoyed Matt Schaub. He did have the yards. he was the yards leader for one season, and he did put up nice numbers for the Texans. But if you're getting compared to Matt Schaub, then you are nowhere near gold jacket material. So Matthew Stafford has to pick it up. He has to step up. They gave up a lot of capital to get him, and so far he's only really delivered against the weak teams. And the way he's playing, I don't even see the Rams winning one playoff game. Like, he needs to pick it up. He needs to look better in the pocket. He had 3 straight games with the pick six, but he could have had more pick sixes. He, like, at the end when they were trying to drive to make the score look a little better, he almost threw another one where he kind of threw it out to the flat and it hung up and it just got missed by a little bit. So Matthew Stafford, he looks shaky. I do know that he's a little bit hurt, but everyone's hurt at this point. Baker Mayfield, everyone's playing hurt. So you got to pick it up. Obviously, the loss of Robert Woods doesn't help. Don't want to overstate or understate the importance of Robert Woods. He was pivotal for them. He was great for them on third down. He could do everything. He could run across. He could go deep. He could do the bubble screens. He could do the end arounds. He did a little bit of everything. He was like an all-gadget wide receiver, so losing him doesn't help. But he's under Sean McVay, and I know he's going to draw up some plays for him. He just has to hit him. He needs to look more comfortable in the pocket. He needs to protect the football better. He needs to have more pocket awareness and just make better decisions. And yeah, now that they lost 3 straight and the Cardinals have still been able to ride the ship even without Kyler Murray, it looks like the NFC West is out of reach. It just looks like they're not going to be able to catch up to the Cardinals. So now they have to just try to get that top wild card spot. And if the Rams go away from home in the playoffs, their chances significantly go down. I don't have them going to Lambeau or going to Tampa Bay. Any of those other teams, I don't see them going to Dallas and pulling up the upset, let alone several upsets to get to the Super Bowl. So it looks like the Rams wasted an opportunity. They were in the driver's seat. They were 7-1. The Super Bowl is at SoFi Stadium. They could have played at home, but it looks like they're kind of wasting away their opportunity. And I think the onus is on Matthew Stafford to turn it around. And that defense too. That defense has a lot of star power. They need to start playing better. Aaron Donald needs to get more pressures. Needs to look like the old Aaron Donald. And the Rams just need to turn around because there's too much talent there. They're way too top heavy to not be doing better. But I think Jaguars come at the perfect time for them. If they don't beat the Jaguars or if they look bad against the Jaguars, then it's a wrap. Like, you could just count them. They're going to make the playoffs, but you could just count them out from the Super Bowl. The Patriots are back after 1 year of misery, after 1 year where it looked like they were gone. People were talking about Bill Belichick being a fraud. It was all Tom Brady. You owe your career to Tom Brady. There was a lot of people talking in hyperbole. There was a lot of people talking down on Bill Belichick. And now 12 weeks into the season, they are at the top of the AFC East. They just beat the Titans 36-13. The Titans, who a lot of people had as the best team in the NFL. They are without Derrick Henry, but still, the Titans were still a solid team, and they just trashed them 36-13. They have now won 6 wins in a row, and they play the Bills twice in the next 3 weeks. Bills, Colts, Bills. There's a Colts sandwich with Bills bread. And we're going to find out just how real they are. I already think the Patriots are real, especially like in the years coming forward with the young Mac Jones. You just got to take them seriously now. You got to know that they're going to be a threat going forward. But this year, like, people are talking like, can they make the Super Bowl? Can they make a run? Well, this is how we're going to find out. I already think they're for reals. I already think they're going to make the playoffs. They have the potential to, get a win in the playoffs. They're going to be a tough out for anybody. But these Bills matchups are going to show us just how strong they are. If they have the potential to really make a push for the Super Bowl, to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. I think the most impressive win in this 6-game win streak is probably against the Chargers. The Chargers at that point were riding high. They were looked at as one of the better teams in the AFC. They've kind of come back down to earth since then. but it kind of all started losing to the Patriots. They did trash the Browns too, but they were going through like a lot at that point. And the victory against the Titans without Derrick Henry. So I would say the Chargers ones is the most impressive, and they have beaten up on some lowly teams along the way. But their defense is great. They're forcing turnovers. Mac Jones has been great. He's been better than advertised. He has a lot of pocket presence, a lot of composure. He knows where to find his check down. He doesn't look like he gets rattled. So that's good for Mac Jones. He's definitely playing great for a rookie, and he's playing above average for a regular quarterback, a veteran. So good for Mac Jones. That defense is carrying them. The special teams is great. Nick Foles is a great kicker. So the Patriots, Bill Belichick looks like, Bill Belichick. People got to apologize to him for saying that he got carried by Tom Brady last year. He just didn't have the horses. He retooled in the offseason. Now he has some horses. We'll see how he keeps building this team in the offseason, in free agency, in the draft. But as of right now, the Patriots are leading the AFC East. The Bills are kind of sputtering. They're kind of, you don't know what the Bills are doing. So it does look like the Patriots have a chance to win the AFC East. And if the Patriots get a home game, if they're able to maybe even end up with the bye, if the road to the Super Bowl on the AFC side goes through Foxborough, then hey, we can start talking about, Super Bowl bound Patriots. And will they beat the Bucks there? That'll be interesting. That'll be a story. That'll be a crazy storyline. But Patriots are back. Mac Jones is solid quarterback. He's a great rookie, solid quarterback. And that defense is just impressive. They hound you. They're relentless for all 60 minutes. And these Bill games are going to be exciting. So definitely watch these next two Bill games. But I will say this. I would not be surprised if the Patriots just fall back to 8-7 after these 3 games. The Bills are tough. The Bills, I know they're not playing their best football, but you would imagine that the Bills are going to play their A game against the Patriots. The Bills, who a lot of people thought they were going to have a chokehold on the division, just like how the Patriots had for all those years. Maybe not as long, but you were thinking like, okay, these Bills are nice. These Bills are legit. These Bills have Josh Allen, MVP candidate last year. It looks like the Bills are going to dominate for the next, 3 to 6 years. Like, this is the Bills division. And for right after the next year, the Patriots are already back. They're already trying to take back their division. I think if you're the Bills, you got to take that personally. You got to be like, nah, like it wasn't just a 1 year run. It wasn't just, a fluke, a little Cinderella story last year. This is our division. Like they gotta take that personally. They gotta, feel that responsibility to keep the AFC East in Buffalo. So I think they're gonna play their A game. I would not be surprised if the Patriots lose the next 3 games, just because the Colts are also playing desperate. They need a fight for that last playoff spot in the AFC. And they play the Bucks very tough. They should probably beat the Bucks. So those are 3 very, very competitive games that the Patriots have. If they extend their win streak to 9, if they sweep the Bills and get the Colts dub, then all bets are off. The Patriots are the best team in the AFC. They will represent them in the Super Bowl. If they go unscathed these next 3 games, I've seen enough. That will just cement it in my head. They are the best team in the AFC. But for now, we'll see. 8-4, great turnaround after starting 2-4. They're 8-4, and we'll see how they'll do against the Bills. But I think they'll probably split against the Bills, and I would say they lose against the Colts, just because the Colts are desperate. The Suns beat the Warriors. They extend their win streak to 17 games. They are the best team in the NBA. They just beat the Warriors with only Booker playing 15 minutes, 104-96. They completely shut down Steph Curry, who had his worst shooting night ever when he attempts 20 or more shots. Mikal Bridges is just a great defender. There's no other way to put it. He's a lockdown defender. He's pesky. He has a long wingspan. And he's pretty athletic, so he could keep up with almost anybody. He has great conditioning. So even though Curry was running all over the court, Mikal Bridges was right there on his hip, following him everywhere. He only scored 2 points, but that defense he played on Steph Curry has like tremendous value. You can't put a value on that. Shout out Mikal Bridges for having a great game. And Booker has been amazing throughout this run. He's been amazing. Unfortunately, he couldn't finish the game. He had a hamstring injury, and we all know hamstring injuries are very iffy. Like if you push him, if you don't take that rest, if you don't let it heal, that hamstring could bother you for the whole season, and you don't want that. Especially if you're the Suns and you're on this hot win streak, and you kind of have NBA Finals aspirations. Losing the finals last year, it's almost like NBA Finals are bust. So why would you rush Booker on a regular season game, although against the Warriors, to see who's the top dog. But at the end of the day, it won't matter too much, maybe in the seedings, but you kind of want to rest him. But for them to be able to give Booker that rest and still get the victory, just there's no words to describe it. The Suns are the best team in the NBA right now, and Chris Paul is a savant, 36 years old, playing in his 17th season. Like I can't believe it. Chris Paul, who a lot of people had written off once he went to OKC, you were like, okay, that's it. That's the end of his career as a member of a contender, as a member of a team that's relevant, that's gonna be playing on TNT, that's gonna be playing on ESPN on a nightly basis. Like, you're gonna just, if you want to watch Chris Paul, you're gonna have to get the league pass so that you're able to watch the local telecast for OKC. And that's it. He's gonna fade into obscurity, and we're not gonna forget about him because he's an all-time great. But as far as like players that are gonna impact the playoff race, he's done. That's it. And Chris Paul, being the all-time great that he is, he took that personally, and he made OKC better than expected. He got them to the playoffs, and he went to the Suns afterwards, and he just completely turned that franchise around. The Suns, who won 7-8 straight games in the bubble, who made the finals last year. This team looks better than all those teams. Ayton is really coming into his own after being drafted, number 3 overall in that 2018 draft, I believe, 2019 draft. He's really coming into his own. I think Booker and Chris Paul have said in this offseason that they were going to get Ayton paid. And well, he's going to get paid. And obviously, Chris Paul and Booker have something to do with it, but Ayton deserves most of the credit. He's really developed. He's good on the low post. He's athletic. He runs the whole court. He can defend really, really well. I'm just very impressed with Ayton. And if you're in the West, he just provides a matchup nightmare against you guys, because almost every team's trying to go small. Every team's trying to play quicker, have as many shooters as they can out on the court. Ayton is like the counter to that. He's big, he's strong, he can finish at the rim, and he could just out rebound anybody. If you go too small, Ayton could punish you, and he's just gonna be a matchup nightmare. The Suns are built very, very well. They're deep. They have probably the best 1-2 combination at point guard and shooting guard. We'll see how Klay comes back. We'll see if Kyrie ever plays, but Chris Paul and Booker is probably as good as it gets right now in the NBA. No loss November, as Devin Booker tweeted out. The Suns are on fire, and I just hope, as an NBA fan, as a Laker fan, I do hope that they got hot too early. But as an NBA fan, I want to see everyone going into the playoffs at their best, so we have like just epic matchups in the playoffs. So I just hope the Suns aren't getting too hot too soon. Like, we still got a lot of NBA left. We got December, January, February, March, and then the playoffs start around April, May. NBA Finals are around June. So hopefully for the Suns, this is not too quick. This is not too much too early. I hope they have, a lot in the gas and they're not burning it all out right now. But I don't think so. Like, they did make the finals last year. They should be very focused on what their goal is. They should know that all of this is great. They're about to break the franchise record for most wins for their win streak, or they're about to tie it. If I think they play the Pistons, if they beat the Pistons, they tie their record, and then they play the Warriors for the record to set a new one. I'm pretty sure this is all great. They would all love to be part of history, tie that record, extend it. But if they don't, I'm pretty sure they all understand that the goal is to make it back to the finals and give themselves a chance to lift the Bill O'Brien trophy. But congratulations to the Suns. 17-game win streak. No loss November. Shout out to the Suns. Shout out to Chris Paul mainly. You are a savant. And Monty Williams, great coach. LaMelo Ball and Giannis Antetokounmpo battle it out on Wednesday night. What a game. The Hornets lose to the Bucks 125 to 127 in an amazing matchup. An amazing matchup that really gave us a preview of what could happen in the playoffs for many years to come, because LaMelo Ball is for real. LaMelo Ball is here. He's here to stay. He's the best ball brother, and he had like his coming out party yesterday, and no one had a better view of it than Giannis. You know, the two-time MVP, NBA champion. He recognized how good of a talent LaMelo Ball is at the end of the game. He went up to him, he grabbed his shoulder, he waited for him to acknowledge him, and he's like, you could pretty much tell. I can't really say what he said because I can't read his mouth, but pretty much said, hey bro, you're legit, you're sick, you had a good ass game, let me get your jersey. I respect you so much. Like, you trying to swap jerseys? And LaMelo was like, oh yeah, let's do it. And they swapped jerseys, and it was a great moment. And it just goes to show how people look at LaMelo now, that Giannis, the MVP, the NBA champion, finals MVP, best player in the NBA right now, is going up to LaMelo and asking him for his jersey and is acknowledging what a great game he had. But it was just an amazing game, back and forth. Hornets take the lead, Bucks fight back, they take the lead. It looks like they're going to start pulling away. Hornets stay in the game. LaMelo Ball just dishing out assists, making tough threes, getting points, getting buckets. And the ending was crazy. The Bucks were up 125 to 122. And the Hornets inball the ball to LaMelo Ball, who's running. It kind of reminded me of that Lillard game winner against the Rockets when it was Harden and Dwight Howard. And he's just running from one side of the court to the other, right along the three-point line. He gets the ball and he shoots and he makes that three-pointer and he sends the Rockets home. It kind of reminded me of that, but just obviously in Milwaukee and in a regular season game. LaMelo Ball runs across the court, gets the ball, takes one dribble, shoots nothing but net, 125 to 125. The arena is like silent. They can't believe it. The Hornets are going crazy. LaMelo Ball has just gone to 36 points. And he was just balling up. He was balling. He was going toe-to-toe against Giannis, who ended up with 40. And it was just like, wow, we're going to get free basketball. Like, I'm down for 5 more minutes of this. But they had like 5 seconds left. Milwaukee Bucks run a great inbound play from after a timeout. And Giannis attacks the rim. It was kind of too easy. They should have had another man come out and help. They should have made Giannis kick out, but it was a good play. They got Giannis with the head of steam, and it was over after that. Giannis, obviously being one of the best or the best player when it comes to attacking the rim when he has momentum. So he gets the 2 points, 127, 125, and at the end, I believe it was Bridges who shot a half-court shot, and it actually went inside of the rim for a little bit, and then it bounced out or rolled out. But overall, that was just a great game, and it was kind of a coming out party for LaMelo. Obviously, we've all seen him all over social media. Anytime he has a good play, SportsCenter, ESPN, Bleacher Report, everyone, he just puts out his highlights, hypes him up. It's all good. It's all good. I don't mind seeing him. There's some people that are getting a little tired, or they call it out, like, oh, why are you like on his nuts or something. I don't mind it. He's a great player. His highlights are usually really cool, but this was one of his better games. This was one where he's like, it was a hyped up matchup, LaMelo against Giannis, and LaMelo stepped up. He went toe to toe against Giannis. It really felt like it was like a boxing match, and they were just punching each other. Like, LaMelo 3, Giannis attacks. It was a great game, and I'm pumped to see how good LaMelo could get. And like the commentators were saying, they're probably gonna be all-star teammates, and LaMelo in the all-star game should be like ridiculously fun. I could already imagine like what antics he's gonna throw in the game. If he already does crazy stuff on a regular season game, I can only imagine how loose and how much fun it's gonna be to watch him play at the All-Star game. But LaMelo Ball is here, you guys. He's the real deal. If you needed more confirmation, this was it. LaMelo Ball is gonna be a star. He's one of the better younger players in the NBA, and I'm just pumped. I'm pumped because the Hornets have great commentators with a lot of great energy, and LaMelo Ball has just revitalized that franchise. That franchise is relevant again, and they're fun to watch. And LaMelo Ball is just incredibly fun to watch. But the Bucks are on an 8-game win streak. After starting 6-8, they're now 14-8 and 8. They're like 4th in the East now, and they're coming. The Bucks are here, and it was just a great matchup. If you guys didn't watch the game, make sure to at least catch the highlights. They're fun. You guys got to watch it. But that should do it for the Hard to Handle Sports Podcast, episode number 75. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening on the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, make sure to subscribe to the podcast. And have a great rest of your day.